continues. Album number 2. Just wanted to say I am representing the new Brain Smasher. Big shout out to Ben. Go ahead and support him on his Patreon. It's just $6, $6.66 a month, and Ben's doing a great job over there. I cannot thank him enough for everything he's done to kind of get me involved in the VCLT community and make me feel welcome and everything. So big thanks to Ben, and I am proud to rep this shirt. Anyway, so album number 2. Crypt Sermon, Out of the Garden, 2015, Dark Descent Records. So, kind of a unique signing as a sort of an epic doom band out of Philly for a label that is predominantly known for death metal. But what I know about, or what I remember about this record is not only did I sort of initially like it, just on black there, nothing too special, but it'd be interesting to get, an opinion as to when the metal community sort of started to feel, I shouldn't say even started to feel, like we can comfortably say there was a tipping point for the new wave of traditional heavy metal. So this is in 2015. In 2016, we get the Eternal Champion, the Armor of Ire record, and you could argue, I think, that band may have been the tipping point where we could comfortably say, okay, it's not just a few bands that are interested in doing it. It's like a full-on sort of collective period of creativity, or bands that are really trying to pay homage to a particular style of metal that was ultimately less visible or less of a priority, I think, for younger musicians. Crypt Sermon, this has got to be one of the records, though, that sort of galvanized. If it wasn't the tipping point, it was one of the major players that sort of said, hey, here's a label for, someone like myself. You've been listening to Dark Descent for death metal or blackened death metal for, maybe a decade. I think Dark Descent as a label kind of came on my radar 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Maybe not, a decade prior to this. I think this is a label they started around 2006-ish. But I've been listening to Dark Descent records since, 2010 comfortably. Let's just go with that. And for them to sign a band like this was kind of out of their wheelhouse. But I think the connection has to do with the bassist may have been in Horrendous, and I think the early Horrendous stuff was on Dark Descent. So they maybe had a connection or inroad to them as a label. But nonetheless, they play a style of epic doom that is, very much reminiscent of, something like Candlemass, for example, right? That's probably the biggest influence for me. The song that won me over was Into That Holy of Holies, that intro there. I first heard that, and this album got a good amount of attention because it was a younger band on a label like Dark Descent playing this style, and that song really sort of stood out to me. But, I listened when I spun this again, the song that follows, The Master's Bouquet, that's probably one of the doomier albums or songs on this album. And maybe my new favorite track here, I don't own their more recent release, I think from 2019, which I've heard good things about. But for me, this is definitely an important album in terms of like solidifying the idea that there were younger bands on the way that were going to be playing in this style that I needed to pay attention to, and that I could personally identify with and say, like, instead of me going back and listening to older Candlemass records, like, there's also going to be younger bands who are trying to do, you know, do their best to sort of bring that sound to a new generation that, you know, can call it their own, can call them one of their own. So this was a lot of fun to pull off the shelf and listen to. I dig the album artwork. And it's got this, like, on the inside here, all for the lyrics and more sort of, you know, religious imagery, everything that you would associate with Candlemass, and all of their lyrical content and themes and tropes regarding Christianity. The vocalist here is kind of the one piece that I think will make or break people's affection towards this band. As much as he sounds like, you know, Robert Lowe, for example, I think there's a little bit, you know, I was of a different kind of gruff, you know, tenor to his voice. Like, it's a bit more coarse. That reminds me almost of like if he was going for a very different kind of metal sound. I remember watching a review of the album in 2019 that Sarah Kittingham did for Banger, and she mentioned that it kind of is at times a bit grungy for her, and I think that was an apt description. It almost feels like he was, you know, equally influenced by, you know, Solitude Aeturnus or Candlemass, as he was something like Soundgarden. It's a very different kind of textural quality to his vocal presentation, but the rest of the band does a great job. You know, songs like Temple Doors and Into the Holy of Holies, like there's some faster riffing there, but Byzantium and The Master's Bouquet are like great, just traditional doom songs, slow and heavy. A defining band, I think, at this point now of the new wave of traditional heavy metal, and they're just a couple of albums deep into their career. So in the years to come, you know, how they are remembered and how much of this record proves to be a classic will be interesting to see. But I can say, now 6 years removed, it still has a whole lot of sway over the new wave of traditional heavy metal, and as a major force, you know, when their albums come out, they're like one of the first names that you have to talk about when bands that are doing epic heavy metal or epic doom today, you need to listen to. So that is Crypt Sermon, Out of the Garden, 2015. Okay. 2 albums in, keep it going here. See you guys soon. They die.